G'day all, here's just a little instructional video on how to set up a Jayco. My model's a 2012 Jayco Flamingo Outback, so it's designed to do dirt roads and that kind of thing. Because they're production built, the Jaycos, a lot of people give them a bit of stick and say they're not that high quality. But I can tell you, I've towed this thing through the Kimberleys, out to Red Bluff, hundreds of kilometres of harsh, corrugated, rocky tracks, and this thing has never let me down. There are small things that can and do go wrong, but usually it's more operator error than the actual unit itself. So I'll just run you quickly through the setup process. There are 4 clips, one in each corner, as you can see here. 4 of these. I accidentally left one down at one point and snapped a cable. I do have a little video on my channel about that process, so you make sure that you drop all 4 of these down. Down and down. So I'll just show you here. We have a 15 amp plug, which goes into a 15 amp socket. Now the only difference between 10 and 15 amp outlets is that the earth part of the plug is wider, and it's wider on the inlet socket as well. So that's the only difference that I can see. This is your water fill point. This is for your mains water, so once that's connected you'll have water through your tap inside. If you want to fill your tank, which I do, I'm going to get wet it. Okay, so as far as possible, get your van level and then drop down your stabilizers. So you've got these here. Some of this is two-handed. Open your boot. And then find this crank handle. Has a hex head fitting which fits in through here, and that and you just touch the ground and give it like half a turn, and you do the same with all 4 corners. Okay, so we've got our 4 legs down. 1, 2, and 2 on the other side. So now the whole square frame of the van is stable and it's not going to roll away anywhere. High wind and these vans are not a great combination. I've spent 3 or 4 hours of a 45 knot wind night just holding the inside frame, and it got through all right, but I couldn't sleep because I was worried that the whole structure might collapse. So my best advice is, if you do encounter close to gale force kind of winds, these vans simply aren't built to cater for that kind of battering, and even if they do survive, it's probably just a nicer thing to do to give yourself a bit of peace of mind. Pull the van down, at least collapse the top, and go and find yourself a nice hotel for the night to wait out the storm. And the cost of that, as opposed to having your van collapse, the top collapse, which I've had happen to my own brother, and the months of rebuild work and the eventual sale of the van because it just didn't kind of work out. Treat yourself, have a good night at the hotel, and no regrets in the morning. So next of all, you've got this square shaped crank handle, and this is what you use to wind the roof of the van to its full extent. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So this is where the crank handle will go in to wind your roof up. It can be a little bit frustrating getting that to fit with the mating female part inside, but you know, persistence, you'll get it. If you're going to deploy your awnings, your fly end, bag end awnings, these protect the sleeping areas from condensation, the bag ends, and this provides for your annex. If you're going to put your annex up, unzip your awning at this stage, because once the van's fully extended, it's going to be difficult to get those zips undone. So at this point, undo your zips on your front and your back and your side. If it's beautiful sunny weather, you probably won't worry about your bag ends, you just do your annex. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully the van won't give me any problems. So at this stage I'll just check. That everything's going as it should. And you'll see here, this green rubberized plastic strap is your indicator of when the roof is fully extended. It doesn't have to be a bowstring, it just needs to be without slack. As you can see, there's still a little bit of slack in it, and it's not bowstring tight. So now that your roof's fully extended, you need 2 support poles, and they go under these ends. You'll find these 2 poles here, rubber stops, they go diagonally opposite. One in here, and see I've labelled this roof support ×2, 1 of 2. Okay, so now you're ready to slide your bed ends out. Now I prefer to do this by myself, but you can do it with 2 people. I just find it a bit more awkward with 2 people because you've got to both pull on each side, and if you kind of pull hard on one side and not on the other, then you're going to jag it and it will be very hard to get out. So I like to get up on the drawbar and grab either side of my waist on the bed end and then just lean back and slowly pull out and get to the ground. Okay, so it's a double bed at this end, and a queen size bed at this end and a double bed at the other end. So they come out a fair way. You'll find 2 poles under the mattress that look like this. One with a flattened end, one with a round end. The round end to the bottom. And these here, round end underneath, and there's a couple of tabs. In under here that the flat end will go into. I just use my shoulder to lift. There you go, I can do it with one hand and my shoulder. That's just because I'm talented. Other side. And then it's simply a matter of corners over. And Velcro up. Okay, so as you can see, we're partially got one bed end out. I'll pull the other one out. It's exactly the same process. Extend the bed end, put your 2 support poles in. You know, one thing I will say is I've got 3 little boys, and as soon as this roof goes up, they want to get in the van. And the problem with that is as soon as you start pulling those bed ends out, they want to get on the beds. And my guys are pretty little, so it doesn't really matter too much, but really you need those support poles in before you get that bed end any weight on it at all. Yeah, good habit to get into. Just make sure those support posts are in before anybody gets on there. The outback is far higher off the ground than your regular van. So here it is. Pull it out, flip it over. Fairly simple stuff. But yeah, it's not a great distance between the exit and the end of the step. So you can step out and it just slips straight off and it's boom, boom, and on your butt on the ground. So just be aware of that. So now we'll go inside and we'll finish putting the bed ends together. This is where all your annex poles and stuff live in here. One is find this pole, which may be under the mattress, which is where I usually store it. Give that a flip up and you'll see this pole here. It has a rounded piece in the middle. You just simply push that back. It's easy when it's hot weather because everything is quite stretchy and flexible, but in the dead of winter, this can be quite the task, and sometimes you'll need somebody up on the end of the bed giving you a hand to push that post a little bit further so you can get this flat piece here into the wide slot here. Once you get into the wide slot, you just slide it over into the narrow slot and voila, you have a bed.